Neuro-Motor Control is not only my favorite movement element to talk about, it is also the one I think is the most important, but sadly, the most underutilized in movement training. If you want to optimize your brain for your movement training and get the most bang for your bucks in your training session, then this video is for you. Ready? Let's jump in. Hi, I'm Selina, physio from MoveMedics. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, please consider subscribing, especially if you are a movement enthusiast who want to do split, straddle, backbend to complement your favorite movement activity, or you are a singer who want to optimize your movement to support your vocal health and performance. Today, we continue on with our movement capacity series with Neuro-Motor Control. Neuro-Motor Control is all about your nervous system, how well and how fast your nervous system integrates all the sensory information it receives from both your body and also your environment, process all them, analyze them, make good decisions, and then send instructions via neuromotor pathways down towards your body so that your body can execute them when and how it was intended. We were not born with neuromotor pathways pre-installed. We were born with some automatic function and a handful of reflexes. That's it. Every movement we want to do, we have to make new neuromotor pathways for. If you want to crawl, you got to make neuromotor pathways for crawling. You want to pick up that toy, you're going to make neuromotor pathways for reaching and grasping. If you want to walk, well, you better make some neuromotor pathways for that too. So really, we form new neuromotor pathways because we are trying to solve movement problems, and we need to have appropriate amount of sensory input as clues to help us do that. If you want a baby to crawl towards you, what do? You call out to them, give them some auditory input, or you dangle a bright toy in front of them as visual stimulus. And we need to have the right amount because too little won't be enough and too much will just overwhelm. And then as we begin to experience movement, we explore and experiment, neuromotor pathways gets consolidated. So as adults learning a new movement, what can we do to make sure that our brain is ready for motor learning? Well, before I tell you what can help it, I want to first tell you about what works against it. Because neuromotor control is all about the nervous system, anything that can affect your nervous system can affect your movement. Any condition of the central nervous system, so that's brain and spinal cord, can affect movement. For example, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, spinal cord injury, an acquired brain injury or stroke, just to name a few. Any condition that affect your peripheral nervous system, which are the nerves in your arms and your legs, can also affect your movement. Just ask anyone who has had sciatica and they will tell you how prohibitive that was for their movement. And while we're talking about sciatica, peripheral neuropathies like that are an inflammatory issue, not a compression issue, which means you have a lot of pain because you have an inflamed, super cranky nerve and not a pinched nerve. Next, we have some lifestyle factors that can affect your nervous system, and the two biggest ones are sleep and stress. When you don't have enough sleep, both in good quality and sufficient quantity, your nervous system can become more sensitive to pain and less pain tolerant. It's a brutal combination. And stress, of course, wreaks all sorts of havoc on our nervous system. So, for the long-term health of your movement and really for your well-being in general, we want to make sure we have good sleep hygiene, and we also must look after our mental health. And lastly, we must consider what we put inside our body, and I'm talking about prescription medication, illicit drugs, or alcohol. Now, if you need to have prescription medicine for your health, then of course you need to keep taking them. But for the optional stuff, you really want to think about how and when you consume them. You might think having a drink or two, then go and do movement makes you less inhibitive, and you may have more fun while doing so, but that does you no favors in terms of establishing your neuromotor pathways. So what helps your brain out? To set your brain up for the maximum gain in your training session, you need three things. Firstly, your brain needs to be alert. Some people's brain are most alert in the morning, but others, their brains are most alert in the evening. So you know yourself best, so you do you. And sometimes if you're feeling quite tired or you may be a little bit unwell, but you still want to do some movement because movement is good for you and can often perk you back up, I would suggest that you do more general movement like going for a walk or having a leisurely bike ride, and save your skill building sessions for when your brain is refreshed and alert. The second thing your brain needs is attention. Now, we have talked about removing distraction in the coordination episode, so definitely check that out and grab those tips. And a new tip for you today is that you are always going to be better off doing a 10-minute hyper-focused session on one task than spending an hour faffing about with your training. Do a little bit of practice, scroll on Instagram for a bit, practice a little bit, go talk to someone for a while, practice a little bit, watch people for a while. When you do that, you are literally scattering your brain everywhere, which is the exact opposite of having attention. And this now takes us to number 3, urgency. When you only have 10 minutes to do something, you are going to make that 10 minutes count, right? And another way to create some sense of urgency is to practice your movement to a metronome. If you set your metronome up to 60 beats per minute, it will click once a second. And then you practice in time with the click. And that is where that sense of urgency comes from. And when you do that, it does something magical in syncing your brain up with your body. So give that one a go and do let me know how that goes. Neuro-Motor Control is the foundation to skill development, and skill is what we are talking about in the next episode. But until then, I have a special message for you. I believe that better movement is available to anyone who wants it, and I am here to show you how. So if you have any questions about this episode or movement in general, please don't hesitate to put it in the comment section and I will do my best to help you out. Apart from subscribing to this channel, you can also follow me on the Instagram for bite-sized movement and mindset tip. Now we know here on YouTube that every video click, every minute watch, every like, comment, share, and sub goes a very long way to helping a channel grow. So I want to thank you very much for spending time with me today. I appreciate you lots, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and be free in your movement.